According to Insider.com, if you want to be a happier than average American, then you've got to make at least $85,000 a year. So says a new study which found that money does buy happiness. Something's going on, hold on. And we're back, it's just my daughter destroying our house. Now, I hit the $85,000 mark a long time ago with my wife, and when we were just making $85,000 together, we were happy from a relationship standpoint, but financially, I was stressed. That was not enough money for us with all the student loan debt, credit card debt, mortgage, and all that kind of stuff. But when we moved to LA and we were both making $85,000 a year, that was really the first time where we were finally not living paycheck to paycheck. I mean, we weren't living paycheck to paycheck before that, but we had like $1,000 left over every single month after all of our bills, which is not a lot of money to live on, and we definitely weren't saving it because that was a ridiculous concept to us at that time when we felt so broke. But now I want to talk about what it's like to hit the ever so elusive $1 million mark in a year. It's been a dream of mine for a very long time to make $1 million. And this year, I'm set to hit that goal, but more than likely surpass it. If you remember a couple of months ago when I announced I was quitting my full-time job, I broke down how much I intended to make from all of my different income streams, and that came out to about $600,000 to $700,000. It's been about 4 months since I shot that video, and it turns out that I may have undershot it. I may have undershot that estimate because currently I am sitting around the $700,000 mark, which if you're interested in knowing all the nitty-gritty details of my different income streams, let me know down below and maybe I'll do a video on it if enough of y'all care. But all to say, I hit the top end of my initial goal and we're 8 months into the year. So yeah, at a minimum, I should make I should be making one. It's very surreal to say out loud that at a minimum, I'll be making $1 million this year. So, am I happier? It's complicated. But before we get too far into this video, I am going to be pretty honest about my financial situation and all that jazz. So if you wouldn't mind doing me a favor and hitting the like button, that would be awesome. And if I'm being honest, I want this video to do super well. Not because I'm a YouTuber and I want all of my videos to do super well, but because I was up until 3:30 last night recording the same exact video, only to find out that my mic wasn't plugged in and there was no sound in that entire video from the 2.5 hours that it took me to record it. So we'll never know how that video is going to turn out, but I'm going to try my best to make this one even better. We'll consider last night the dress rehearsal. If you follow the channel, then you know I've had a pretty big year for a lot of different reasons, and I've spoken to so many people, and I think that one of the main questions I get is, when is enough enough? And depending on when you would have asked me that in my life, my answer would have changed throughout the years. It used to be 1 million, 2 million, 3 million, 4 million. Honestly, I'm just stalling. It's really hard for me to say that I'm gonna make $1 million this year. And I think it's because you watch people on YouTube like Graham Stephan, Meet Kevin, Andre Jick, Ryan Pineda, who's like the way richer, better looking version of me. Though, I'd argue that I've got the better coif, right? They put their content out there and they're so confident in themselves and their businesses and how they make money. To put it bluntly, those guys have their shit down. But if you were to sit down and talk to me, I'd probably tell you that I'm still figuring this out. Like, I have no idea what I'm doing. I mean, don't get me wrong. Things have worked out very well for me and there's obviously a reason for that. And it's because I work hard and I really try to be a student of the different businesses that I'm involved in. But I'm not a naturally gifted businessman because I'm a businessman. I'm not a naturally gifted businessman. If I can be 100% honest here, I've been on a completely different financial journey over these last 4 months. And it is completely different, and I mean completely different than what I've been accustomed to my whole life. And it's kind of a weird thing. This video is more intended for those of you that have big financial goals, like you want to make $1 million. I mean, like maybe it's your actual business goal and that's something that you're working towards every single day. If that's you, I'm speaking to you, pal, because I want to share some pretty honest thoughts here and like what I'm going through and the journey and all that stuff. And I wanted to make this video today because obviously being a millionaire is a cool thing if that's your goal and you're able to hit it. If that's your jam, then great. But I think that it's kind of glorified a little bit on YouTube with like some of the channels that I talked about it and everyone else who talks about being a millionaire. But I don't feel like enough of them spill the tea on what it's really like and like the hardships of it, which is what I'm here to do, except I'm drinking coffee. So let's settle the debate and a lot of the comments that I get. I'm not a trust fund baby. I had a great life growing up, but we weren't rich. We weren't poor either, but my parents worked very hard to give me and my sisters a life here in America. They immigrated from Mexico and gave everything up for us. Mom and Dad, if you're watching this, I just want to say thanks. I feel like I don't say that enough, and I love you, and thanks for doing that for us. So combined, my wife and I, when we started our careers, we were making about $80,000. We had $80,000 in student loan debt, and we had about $15,000 to $20,000 in credit card debt.
You are stupid.
So you can start to see how we go through our livelihood pretty quickly with all those bills. And it was always, and I mean always, the running joke between my friends and my coworkers that I was cheap, that I was frugal, that I was the deal guy, that I would do anything to save $5, that I would do anything for a free meal, and I mean anything. And then when we moved to LA, that was when I started my Airbnb business, and that's when our financial situation completely changed. I never imagined in a million years it would lead to all of this, to everything that I have, to my Airbnb portfolio, to starting the channel, to, quitting my job eventually, all because I started one Airbnb, and that business really catapulted my financial success. And now I do that full time. I have 14 units now. My goal is to have 30 in a year's time. I started a consulting service where I booked out a month in advance, and I closed that service down, and now I'm about to launch an Airbnb program where I teach people how to start their own businesses. Which, by the way, I do get all of your DMs and emails, and I promise it's coming soon. It takes a very long time to record and edit 100 videos, but it's launching in a month, and if you're interested in joining the waitlist, I'll leave a link down in the description below. Anyway, like I said, all of this from one dinky apartment that I decided to put on Airbnb. And so here's the deal. I started making money very quickly with Airbnb, and I kind of imposed brokenness on myself. Since I was already used to being broke, I just kept reinvesting all of my profits back into my Airbnb business, and I would always dump money back into my real estate stuff. And so while in 2017 is where I started to make a little bit more money, it wasn't up until 6 months ago that I was like, damn, I make money now. And me and my wife quit our full-time jobs with benefits and healthcare, where we were making $185,000 a year. And so here is how my mindset has shifted. I'm not happier. Don't get me wrong, I'm happy, and I'm in a happy place in my life, but that happiness is not coming from the fact that I'm making money. You think you set these big financial goals and it's gonna be this big rock concert and angels are gonna come out of the sky and there are gonna be orchestras and standing ovations for you that you finally did it, but that's not what happens. All right, really quick. I just said that I'm very happy, and I feel like I don't look super happy when I say that, and I just wanna remind you that 90% of my YouTube videos are shot from the hours of 12 a.m. to 3 a.m. because with a newborn kid and just everything going on, it's the only time I can record my videos. So am happy, may not be emanating the vibes in that exact moment, but I've had a full night's rest. Anyway, yes, I did put on this shirt for continuity, and back to the video. You see, I've gone from tangibly making $185,000 a year in my full-time career with my wife to reaching this $1 million goal. And it's such a drastic change, and it's so like unrealistic and so surreal in a sense. And I'm having a really tough time processing this, especially because I thought I was gonna be happier because we were gonna have more money to spend on more things and it was gonna be all gravy. So now that you have a peek inside my brain and you kind of understand my journey and like where I'm coming from here, I wanna talk you through some of the things that I've learned. And some of these things I learned the hard way, and I'm still learning all of these things every single day, but I'm happy to have identified a lot of these struggles and problems that I was having, because ultimately that allows me to work on solutions to these problems and struggles that I've been facing over the past couple of months, meaning I'm working on myself, and thus I'm happier. So the first thing here is you can't lose your why, and I wanted to think of a more clever name for this, but it is 3:04 a.m. And I know it sounds like it's straight out of a corporate handbook, but it really is true, because I have wanted to make $1 million for a long time, and that was an arbitrary number. And let me tell you why I wanted to make $1 million. It's because I wanted to make enough money to where I could take care of my family. I could take care of my mom and dad. As I mentioned, they immigrated here, and I just wanted to be able to buy my dad like a brand new truck and my mom a house and make sure that they never have to worry about money again. And so to me, I just arbitrarily assigned $1 million to that goal, thinking, yeah, if I had $1 million, that would probably be enough to do that. And so I've been so heads down trying to achieve this goal and chipping away at this goal for so long, for so many years, that I often forget to just look up and remember why I'm doing this and really just be proud of what I've built. And it's so easy to get wrapped up in these goals, but I gotta consistently remind myself that I'm not doing this for some sum of money. I'm just doing it so that my whole family can be happy, so I can take care of them. That's why I do this. So that's number one. Number two thing that I've learned here is that there comes a certain point where no matter how much money you make, if you're not dumb, your spending habits aren't really gonna change all that much. When I say dumb, I mean like going out and buying like Rolls Royces and Ferraris and all that stuff. But here's what I've realized. When I was making $185,000, we were already making enough to pretty much buy the stuff that we wanted within reason. Go travel somewhere back when that was a thing, buy new clothes, buy sushi, go out to eat. And I used to dream about all the nice and fancy things that I would buy when I was rich. And the truth is, I want to spend the same amount of money as I did before, possibly less, which is weird. Third thing that I sort of realized here is, generally speaking, when you're on your path to make your first $1 million, you really end up selling a lot of your time. And that's the trade-off. So you make a lot more money, but you also have significantly less time to do the things that you love, like spend time with your family. So it's incredibly important to figure out as soon as possible how to scale yourself up as a business, which is ultimately why I decided to shut down my consultation business, which I'm sure I'll do a video on that one day. But I made the hard decision to shut down my consultation business, and in its place, I created a platform for all of my different programs. And that's how I was able to scale up and get a lot of my time back. Fourth thing that I might have realized a little bit too late here, but invest in people so that you're not doing it alone. I, for a very long time, did a lot of stuff alone, and I got really good at doing things on my own and running my business on my own. But the more I would do that, the harder I made things for myself. And so now I'm giving a lot more responsibility to different business partners, and I'm giving out more equity. I've hired a full-time editor, thanks Caleb, and I've also hired a full-time assistant. And while all of this cost me more money on the surface, in the long run, it's gonna make me a lot more money because I'm gonna get a lot of my time back that I can then go and refocus on all my different businesses. Which this strategy is why I'm able to make so much this year. I quit my 9-to-5 job. I got 40 hours back in my week that I was then able to focus on all of these businesses, and I was able to 5x my overall income. And lastly, number 5, new thing for me in my life that I'm just trying out, get help. I just signed up for betterhelp.com. Didn't necessarily feel like I needed therapy, but everyone that I know that's taken therapy says that they're happier because of it. And I was like, well, I'm already a happy person. I wouldn't mind being happier. And I've been doing that for the past couple of weeks. And honestly, it's been great to be able to open up and talk to someone about all the dead bodies in my closet. Anyway, I signed up for therapy because I'm incredibly busy. Like, my days are just ridiculously busy. I'm a little bit more stressed these days than I used to be. There's a little bit more pressure. And yeah, like I said, I am generally happy, but I just don't feel like my lifestyle is really sustainable. And so I just preemptively decided to sign up. Oh, nice. Actually, if you want a free week of BetterHelp, I'll leave a link down in the description below and I'll get a free week too. Scratch my back, I'll scratch yours. We could totally be therapy bros. But honestly, really, I'm voicing this because you think you make money and then everything is solved. And I used to scoff at these articles that say, you'll be happier if you make $85,000 a year. And I was like, psh, what a stupid clickbait title. I'd be way happier with $1 million. Well, I can kind of confirm that that's true. And I know that a lot of you are like, well, of course you can say that because you're sitting there and you said you made $1 million, so it's easy for you to say that. Yes, but let me counter with this. If you remember, my wife and I were making about $80,000 when we first started our careers. And while we were so financially broke and stressed out from it, those are some of the happiest years of my life. That was the beginning of our marriage. We had moved to Kansas City. We were in a new city. We made a lot of new friends. And yeah, we were broke, but damn, we were happy. And since then, I've gone through so many tiers of financial, one-upping myself. And I was never really happier when I hit those pillars because in general, I've always been a happy person. And so now, like I said, I'm happy and I'm in a happy place in my life. And yes, I do make money, but at the root of it, why I'm happy is because I have 2 beautiful children. I have an amazing and supportive wife. I'm living my dream right as we speak. I'm building a tiny house village. I'm creating Airbnbs all around the country, and I'm a YouTuber full-time to over 104,000 people. Like this right now, looking at the camera and talking, this is a dream come true, and that makes me happy. And when I started this entire journey, I was so happy to do this. And just over 1 year ago, I hit 1,000 subscribers on YouTube. I talk about this a lot, and that to me was a dream come true, that 1,000 of you would subscribe to me and hear what I had to say. We fast forward to today, and y'all tune in every week, and you watch me mess up and stumble over my words and make weird jokes and make a fool of myself on camera, and you still smash the like button. That's why I'm happy. And yeah, money is cool too, but I want to end by saying this. Whether I make $1, $2, $3, $4, $5, $6, $7, $8, $9, $10 million, no matter how much money I make, actually, let's say $1 trillion, that will never buy me an extra day, an extra hour, an extra minute, an extra second, an extra nanosecond with my family. And that kind of thing stings a little bit more once you realize it. That's not really how I intended ending this video, and this video honestly is not anything like the one I recorded last night, but I'm gonna go change a poopy diaper and probably get spit up on by my newborn, and I'm gonna go give my wife a kiss and hug my daughter, and yeah, that's it. See you on the next episode of Robuilt.